Good morning, everyone. You can hear me okay, right? Yeah, sorry. I wear this mask for my 103-year-old dad. I just have 5 or 7 minutes, so I'm going to get right to it. Human beings in every era of history, on every continent, practice solidarity economics, mutual aid, and economic cooperation. These are strategies and practices older than capitalism that enable people to work together to survive and thrive. Human beings' first economic system was cooperative. For Black and brown people in the US, cooperative economics organization has been a means for collectively surviving and asserting and affirming one's humanity, especially in economics. Black Americans, for example, established cooperative enterprises in order to sustain their communities, feed their families, control their work lives, and share what they created in the face of economic exploitation and exclusion. In my book, Collective Courage, A History of African American Cooperative Economic Thought and Practice, I delve deeply into this history and document dozens of examples of Black co-ops. In particular, I found 3 prolific periods of cooperative business practices in the 1880s, 1930s, and 40s, and the 60s and 70s. And I believe the 2020s are coming up too, but the book was published already, as well as a continuous history of mutual aid and cooperative ownership. I want to focus today on 2 important benefits of worker cooperatives, which is an underutilized economic structure and practice. Worker cooperatives, if you don't know, are cooperative business enterprises owned and run by the employees, where worker owners are 100% of the owners. Worker owners operate under the same co-op principles: joint ownership, democratic governance, economic participation, return based on use, continuous education, concern for community, profit sharing, autonomy, etc. The first benefit to discuss is that worker co-ops achieve and transcend economic goals, and thus have the potential to transform agricultural, manufacturing, unionized industries, as well as service industries. And second, I'll talk about how worker co-ops transform work by practicing self-management and economic democracy, so that at the same time that they deliver economically, worker co-ops develop their members' social capital, leadership capacity, and achieve psychosocial humanist development. And I'll explain that in a minute. Case studies and surveys show that worker co-ops have many benefits, sorry about that. Increased productivity, better working conditions, control over work and work rules, benefits such as healthcare, retirement, etc., job ladder mobility, often better wages, less employment turnover, and asset building. Worker co-ops increase social capital and civic engagement, develop multiple types of leadership, stabilize communities, and recirculate resources multiple times in the same local community. There's less coercion, more self-management, communication, teamwork, which results in productivity improvements. Studies also find higher levels of training in worker cooperatives, and worker cooperatives are often started to meet community needs. For example, elder care, child care, healthy food, green industries, and/or to protect jobs. Cooperatives therefore create more engaged citizens and leaders with experience in advocating for themselves and their communities, and with experience operating democratically. These broad-ranging benefits can be seen most vividly when studying incarcerated worker co-ops. I first truly understood solidarity economies and cooperative economics as a humanist economics project when interviewing formerly incarcerated men about their experiences as co-op owners while in prison, operating incarcerated worker co-ops in Puerto Rico. Incarcerated worker co-ops are businesses owned solely by incarcerated people who are both members and board members and who self-manage the co-op. Mekelle Prison in northern Ethiopia and several prisons in Puerto Rico provide the best examples. In Mekelle, the inmates are allowed to organize licensed producer cooperatives, to access outside markets, and to borrow working capital. Incarcerated people established at least 31 cooperatives with over 900 incarcerated member owners, running successful co-op businesses in dairy, vegetable farming, cobblestone cutting and paving, metalworks, carpentry, plumbing, electric work, bakery, weaving, and sewing. All co-op members receive vocational training, financial education, and access to microloans and micro-insurance. Some receive advanced training. Members save about a third of their co-op income. They provide remittances to their family and spend the rest on necessities. Formerly incarcerated members are actually allowed to continue membership in the co-op with a reverse commute. In Puerto Rico, before the COVID pandemic, there were 5 incarcerated worker co-ops in various prisons. Incarcerated people themselves demanded co-op business education and the right to own their own co-ops. They petitioned for a change in the law so that they could do that, and then founded the first incarcerated worker co-op, Cooperativa de Servicio Argos, which is an artist worker co-op started in 2003 in Guayama Penitentiary. Soon followed a solar panel co-op, a technology co-op, a cafe co-op right outside the doors of the prison, and a sewing co-op in the women's prison, with hundreds of worker owners combined. From researching incarcerated worker co-ops in other countries and interviewing the former members in Puerto Rico, I learned that engaging in co-op business ownership and production is personally and socially transformative for incarcerated people. They gain skills, earn real money that they share with their families and use to pay debts. They grow in innumerable ways that enable them to reduce their sentences and return to society. Many of the members I interviewed had 99+ sentences, and after joining the co-op were out within 10 years. When interviewed, formerly incarcerated co-op members mostly commented on how transformative the experience was psychologically, socially, and spiritually. Because they worked cooperatively as members of a collective, they took responsibility for their actions, their businesses were accountable, they participated democratically, they made decisions with other members. They repeatedly remarked to me that when they were a member of the co-op, they felt like a human being and became what the co-op law said they were: co-op members, co-owners, decision makers, and leaders, not thieves or degenerates. So it really changed their lives. Owning and working their own co-ops is a humanizing experience that rewards their economic agency and gives them dignity and self-respect, counteracting the dehumanizing, disrespectful treatment they receive in prison. Given the various benefits and impacts, one can see why one study in Italy found that the cities with the most worker co-ops had the highest measures of economic well-being, health, general satisfaction, and political efficacy. Thank you.